at supper time.
Welcome to Talking Football in Sly Fox Tavern. Our special guest tonight is Rich. Is it Alercio?
Alercio,
my fault. Rich Alercio from St. Johnsbury Academy, and it is in one of the most beautiful places in the world that I've ever seen. Is it the Northeast Kingdom, the Northwest Kingdom?
That Northeast Kingdom of Vermont. We're just about 45 minutes south of Canada.
I'll tell you, it's one of the prettiest places on earth. When I heard you were from there, I was so jealous. It's unbelievable.
Well, you're always welcome. If I turn the camera a little bit, I could show you our cabin out on the lake that you can help yourself to at some point.
Kind of jealous. So how you doing in the lockdown right now, pal?
Yeah, good. Staying busy. Actually, the neat thing is doing a lot of Zoom stuff. You know, we've had weekly Zoom meetings with our staff. Just about every week I've done a Zoom meeting with a different staff. You know, like everybody is just clamoring for stuff like you're doing right now. And then that leads to follow-ups. Like I'm hopeful somebody will reach out from somewhere in the country and say, hey, let's talk about this. And so
Absolutely.
We've been setting up Zoom meetings. Yeah.
You know, we've done some virtual workouts with our kids. We do them 3 nights a week. I got this young strength coach who's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And he leads them through it, and they're all kind of like body weights. And I couldn't walk if I did what he did, but he's doing a hell of a job with it. So I understand.
I'm hopeful we're in our field house by June 8th when we start our summer workouts. But if not, that's the exact plan.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about your school, Coach.
Yeah, well, we got 1,000 kids in the school. 25% are international boarding, so we are an independent boarding school, which really makes kind of a neat place in that we've got people from all over the world paying what you pay for to go to a pretty good college, and then we've got kids in the area, and socioeconomically we're in somewhat a depressed area, so really a diverse student body. In every socioeconomically, racially, as far as religion, we are a diverse group, and our team somewhat reflects that. We've got kids from all over the world on our team. Some of them have never seen a football, but actually, think it's the greatest thing in the world, and will come to America just to put a uniform on. So for those kids that are regular, Americans that take for granted, it's amazing to see a kid from China who's never worn a uniform stare in a mirror for 20 minutes and not want to take it off.
Right. We got a couple exchange students at our place that live with families, and we have a little kid from China named Jerry.
Yeah.
And Jerry's a great kid. Everybody loves him. And one of the best stories is same night our volleyball team won a championship. We won a championship on the same site. Somehow Jerry got in both team photos with the trophy. So I love that.
I love those kids.
They are awesome. Tell me a little bit. Here's what I know about football. I know 2 football coaches in Vermont.
Yeah.
I know you, and I know Mike Norman.
Yeah.
Both of you are hell of good football coaches. Tell me about football in Vermont. Who do you play? Where do you go?
I would tell you we probably have less schools than any other state. We have 32 football playing schools divided up into 3 divisions. Football is, when I got here to the state 10 years ago, there were 2,000 football players in the state. We are just under 1,000 football players now in the entire state. It's a concern in Vermont just like it is everywhere else. The tough part is, we got a lot of small towns in Vermont so a lot of schools can't even have a football team. So we do have some co-ops where areas will all go to one school and play. The other thing is unfortunately, Vermont football is really not on the map. I'm originally from New Jersey, where, you can't spend a day in the spring without multiple coaches walking through your door. We've gotten pretty good. Rutland, where Mike Norman is good. So we'll get recruiters through. There's not a lot of kids in our state getting a lot of offers.
Now, I know Mike goes down into Boston and plays a couple people because of their location. Do you get to do that, or do you stay pretty much in Vermont?
We really haven't. We've explored that, but quite honestly, I think it's better for us to be able to stay in state because of our quality point system. It works out for us to be able to play. I get what he's doing. He's preparing himself for playing the better teams. Because quite honestly, in a given year, in the division, there's really 2 or 3 teams that really have a shot at going, and you really want to prepare yourself for that level of play if you're not going to play them in the regular season.
Yeah, I think proximity probably plays a whole lot.
Yeah, they're a lot closer to we. We're all the way up. Yeah, I mean,
Unless you're, we're going to play a Canadian school this year. That might be your best hope there.
you know what? We actually had a scrimmage yet with a Canadian team, and they had to pull out on us. Didn't have enough offensive linemen, they said.
Okay. All right, Coach. People probably, if you don't know Coach, he is unbelievable offensively. His numbers are incredible. He throws the ball. He's up tempo. It's just how we like to play. And I spent some time with him in Groton, Connecticut.
That's
I
right.
believe it was. And we had chalk war. We had all sorts of fun throwing bizarre ideas at each other. And today's coach is going to share some of his staples with us as we share the screen over to him. Coach, teach us a little football this morning.
Yeah, what I want to share is our screen pass options, and I'll click onto a screen in a second. But really, for the screen pass options, what they are for us, it's taking the RPOs to another level. Instead of just running a screen pass, we tag a screen pass with an existing pass in our offense. So we can do a couple of things. Instead of actually taking the time to teach a quarterback to look off, to fake, get eyes away from one side to throw a screen on the other side, we actually give them a front side receiver. So on every one of our screens, we have a front side receiver that's a number one read. So it's a progression read for us. We are one on the front side, two to the screen side. So I'll share probably the easiest one for us to look at right now, which is our boot screen. Let me just click into.
There we go.
You got it?
It's coming. It says you're sharing. Still blank.
Yeah, mine's too. Hold on a second.
That's
there it is. Is that it?
No, we're good. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a trips formation for us. Our trips is a 3-by-1 attached. So what we're doing is we're running a bootleg to the right, which is a play that we run on. We run a lot of boot out of our spread. We run it at a 2-by-2, 3-by-1. We'll run it out of open and closed. In this situation, we're running one that we run a lot of, and that is, a fade, bench flat, a levels concept to the sidelines. What we're doing is now, instead of reading it in a 1-2-3 progression on the boot side only, we are taking a read only at that tight end. So what we're doing is we're doing what everybody does in RPO, which is find a conflict player. For us, if you take a look at the Sam linebacker here marked in red, that guy for us, when we're running a screen, is always the hardest guy to account for a couple reasons. One, if he's keying that back, when you action this way, he could care less about that. He starts to sift over a little bit. The other thing is, as all the linemen in our screens, all of our screens are 3-man screens. This is a 2-count 3-man screen. So we're blocking boot with that guard, and then the other 3 guys to that side are going out, up, and in. And that cat is a tough one to get, as he can so easily backdoor the departure of that guard. So if he's reading guard to back, he's going to get a clean look to that side when that guy leaves on a 2-count, and he's going to undercut that. So we want that guy to be the conflict player. So instead of running a stick concept with a give pass on that cat, we put him in a screen pass conflict. So for us, we're going to slam release on that guy, which is what we do anyway, and the same thing we do if we were running inside zone. And he's coming out into the flat, and we're reading that guy. Now, obviously, we've got to get a pre-snap what the overhang looks like, because sometimes that usually for us, that guy's going to carry number 2 vertically. But if he doesn't, if he gets caught cloudy, we have to go back over to the other side anyway. But the premise of this, for a clinic sense right now, if the strong safety, the rolled up guy, does vacate with 2 and opens up the alley, if the Sam linebacker hangs in the box, the quarterback is coming out. He's reaching, riding, rolling. His eyes are on the number 1 read. And just to right out there with a very easy teaching fact is, if he's open, we throw it. And that's as easy as it is. That's the coaching point. If he's open, we throw it. Now, if this, for some reason, if this guy decided to pass it off to the free, not carry 2 vertical, or the read of the conflict player, if this guy vacated the box and came out on, because he has number 3 in a match zone concept, if he did not read these and he went out on number 3, then we would turn and we would throw the screen over to the back on the other side. So the back's coming across, looking to chip any blitz, and then he is setting up outside the box, and then looking to be able to run the alley in between the out, the in, and right behind the up. Generally, we're putting this guy on a crack to this side. Sometimes we'll crack a high safety. Sometimes you'll see on film we'll crack the mic. And sometimes we'll also put him on a runoff. So we do a variety of different things and tag it. If we really like the matchup of this kid versus that kid, we may just have it as a fade, and that would be a pre-snap read. And then we would do a post-snap progression. So we're looking at saying if we can just take that guy, we'll take him. So either way, we're going to remove the corner from there. I do have some cut-ups of a few of them where we're actually throwing it to. Let me see if I can get up to the top of that. Okay, so in this scenario, we're going to highlight the guy who'd be the conflict player. He's going to either be able to cover 3 or he's going to stay with the back. We also have to worry about that cat there. And if you know, this guy does settle on it. So we wind up looking and saying, okay, he's not open. We do get a blitz on that guy. But again, what we're looking for is the manipulation, because we run that play so often, because we run boots so often, and because the quarterback's eyes are sold on that, we get a great manipulation of every kid in a red helmet. And you wind up coming out the other side with very few people. The linemen do a good job. We're 3 for 3. We match up with them, and it winds up being a pretty good play for us. Taking a look at it in the end zone, same scenario. That's the kid we'd be reading. He winds up blitzing, which we can account for, and we come back out to the other side, and we come out clean.
Nice.
So another one. This is one now we like to do on motion. So we do a lot of orbit motion. We do orbit motion with runs with keeps. We do pitch it to them, and then we run our boot off of it so we get the run look also. Same scenario. The Sam is the conflict player, but now we're going to put the tight end on a bench route on him and clear out the overhang with the orbit motion, and we're going to read number 30 there, who expands underneath number 2. And again, hardest guy to block, leaves the sideline open. We had a fade tagged on this one, so the corner ran off, but he recovered, and the tackle did not do a very good job of getting the out kick on that. So again, 30's the guy we're reading. If he leaves the box to carry the tight end, that's the cat we're looking at. He leaves the box. We manipulate all the guys in red jerseys. This is Mike Norman's team, by the way, going back to it. And
I figured with the big R on the field.
Yep. So you're going to see the R a couple times because they host the state championship. But you can't see the screen right now. But right now they've got us up. They're up on us right now, 31-27 late in the game. We put this drive together through a fade in the end zone to win it late. Really tough road game. We got down early. And, boy, we just tough to go to school all day long, 31-28. Tough to go to school all day long and then drive 2 hours to Rutland to play a Friday night game.
I got to tell you what. You have some bus trips, my friend.
Yeah, we do. And we won a 2-hour trip and a 2.5-hour trip this year.
Now, we played in Indianapolis. That was a solid 6 hours.
Oh, God. You did it overnight, right?
No. Left early and left at noon and played and got home at 4 a.m.
How'd you play?
Lousy in the first half. Really well in the second.
Same as us. In both of the long trips, we did the same thing, and they were the 2 of the best teams we played.
Yeah.
I'm going to show 2 more just because I want to show what it looks like when we do throw it to the front side. So in this scenario, again, we're going to isolate him as the Sam. He's the conflict player. We clear him out. The Sam hangs the box, and we're able to get the throw out to there.
Yeah.
And looking at the end zone, same scenario. That guy's going to vacate with number 2. 22 is the conflict player. He's going to hang. Good. We get leverage, and we get out, and sometimes you get some pretty good. And this is the last one. Same scenario again, just a 3-3 stack in the identification of the Sam linebacker. Here is the conflict player. That's the guy we got to be wary of. That number 2 clears him. 2 does clear him. Sam hangs the box, and we throw it to him. So for us, when we call a screen, we're not necessarily throwing a screen. Not to say more often or not, because the screens have been so good for us, but our numbers were absolutely ridiculous. On our boot screen, we were an 80% completion rate because sometimes it was incomplete to the front side. In our stick screen, which I'll show you next, we were a 100% completion, and our numbers are through the roof. With the boot screen, we average over 20 yards. So these have been great screens for us. and a great way for us. And again, for the big thing is too is like you said, we do throw the ball a lot. Screens for us are not necessarily a third down play, even though we do call them on third downs, and I do get a kick when everybody on the defense and the opposing sideline is screaming, watch screen, and we throw one anyway. But for us, they are a first play. Off a punt, off of a kickoff. Throw a screen. And for us, because we have a front side read, we think it's pretty safe to be able to do that. The next one I would show you is a drop back screen with the same exact principle. We're doing virtually the same thing in that we're isolating the Sam as the conflict player. We have a concept that we already have, stick, in our offense, but instead of reading it like we would normally read stick, we are just going to say if we can clear that with the slide route of number 2, we can isolate him. If he holds the back, we throw the stick route here to the tight end. If he expands on the tight end, we're throwing this. Now, for us, we run both stick out of a tight and out of an open. So we'll go 3-by-1 open. I'll show you that screen next. And we'll run both slip and slow. So if you notice on this screen, our slip screen, we line them up on the front side and bring them across. If I click to the next screen, this is our slow screen. We line them up on the screen side and we slow release them to that side. I also just happen to put up the 3-by-1 open. We will have this guy on the stick route. If he's wider, bring it in. And sometimes even as a detached receiver, he will run the out cut on the stick. And we just call that 2 different ways. But rule of thumb, if he's an outside receiver, we'll break in. If he's an inside attached, we'll break out. But in all of these screens for the quarterback, Pat, it's exactly the same. We're taking a look. Do we clear the overhang player? Now read the conflict player. If he disappears, we read the conflict. If he hangs and can bracket, particularly on that stick, then we're just going to throw the screen because hell, the screen was what we wanted to, excuse my language, what we wanted to run anyway. So for us, again, becomes a really safe one to really manipulate the kid. And again, if we do get the screen and we're throwing it, we remove the toughest guy to block. And by virtue of everybody having the quarterback having eyes to receivers, and these guys just not running runoffs, we get some pretty good spacing and separation, for our kids. So, we're going to run one now. Taking a look at him, we're going to run hang on to this to boot. Oh, this is the boot. Let me get to the other screen. All right. So, yeah, this is Mike Norman's place again. So we're going to run the stick with him, but we're going to run it as an out cut. Now, just the other thing, too, is I think we're going to chat a little bit about fourth down. We are a fourth down team. So just to give you an idea, if you look, this is 4th and 5. We're just cross midfield. We don't punt. We try not to ever punt. We had 12 punts in an 11-game season, so we can talk about that a little bit next. But I'm one of my biggest pet peeves is just having good field position and saying, yeah, you know what, we'll give the other team the football. So we have a play we like. We've got a one-on-one matchup for a stick route, or we have the screen coming out to the other side. Quarterback liked the fact that the Sam linebackers hung in the box. We had a one-on-one route versus man coverage, and we were able to throw that. Actually, he blitzed. So we got the one-on-one, and it's a fourth down conversion. We keep going and wind up scoring. So here's another one. Again, same field, different team. This is Mike's team again. Now we're running a stick route with the tight end on the outbreak. This guy's going to hang the box. That's the guy the quarterback's looking at. We don't clear that alley player well enough, so he winds up spilling back in. Number 23 really needed to one-step that to the flat. He kind of went a little too vertical. So number 12 here was a little too close to it. But what we get is he does vacate 30 blitzes, and we have the stick route. So a really easy read for our quarterback on that. We're going to run one now with it. Now you can see he's expanded, so we're going to run it more of a hitch. It's a little bit deeper. We're going to read him to see if he expands. We wind up getting safety help, but nonetheless, he expands, so we throw it off to the side. We wind up getting a holding call there, but again, the key was whether he can get it in or not. The Sam leaves the box. He tries to get out into that window, and it gets a little cloudy over there, so we have a lot of space to be able to throw the ball to. Again, 50 is the read. He leaves. Go over to the screen side. Here's another one with the tight end on a stick. He doesn't like, again, the linebacker expanding out. So you can see that linebacker expands out. But again, more importantly, he knows that if the linebacker expands, we don't have to worry about him in the screen. So we can get him out clean going out the other side. And we'll just show the end zone one on this.
Yeah.
Okay, again, that's the cat we're looking as the conflict player. He opens up, he runs out. We don't have to worry about blocking him. So we're only really blocking. So nobody, what we're saying is with the SPOs, we don't allow anybody to sneak up on us. So that's really our biggest. Let me just say that. Hang on. Get off of that. Nobody needs to hear the noise on that one. That was another good one, though. But again, so the whole premise for us is, we're never just going to tell the quarterback, hey, get your eyes over here, then throw it over there. We want to be able to give them a route. We want to be able to create a conflict player. And we really want to make sure that nobody on the front side can sneak up and get us from behind. So I know a lot of people talk about, having a guy peel off for the rat killer and stuff. We don't worry about that. We worry about that by having something over on the front side to be able to take care of that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something. You mentioned it before. Okay.
Yeah.
You tell us about your fourth down philosophy.
Yeah. So, it's funny. I just don't understand why people would punt for a couple of reasons. One, punting's expensive. You got the snapper, and how many people really have a guy that can fire it back 13, 14 yards? You got to have a kid that can catch it and punt. And punting, so we rugby punt, and for the most part, it's because we don't want to actually punt it anyway. And that I could tell you, I can teach anybody to do that. But punting is a skill, and it's a tough skill. You got all those different techniques, those kick slides everybody's doing on punt protection now. Punt is one of the most expensive things to do, so we don't do it. We'd rather focus on fourth down conversion plays. So instead of doing 15 minutes a day on punt, we'll do 15 minutes a day on fourth down conversions in our offense with a play that we're already really good at. And the other thing is, it's just a pet peeve of mine to say to yourself, it's funny, we're close to Canada, and I jokingly ask people in football, how many downs do you get to get a first down? Everybody says 3. No, that's Canada. We get 4. So, we try to use all 4 of them. Again, we punted 12 times this year in an 11-game season. And quite honestly, most of them were late in the game when you really look like a jerk when you're up 41-7 and you're going for it on fourth down. So we will punt. We'll let it roll around.
Okay. Let me ask you this.
You're
4th and 6, 4th and 7.
Yeah.
What's your thought process?
So the screen pass ones are a great one for us. Again, it was 4th and 5, right around the 50-yard line in the state championship game, and the one I showed in the SPO one. That's a good one because we have a 7-yard route,
right,
and a screen that averages considerably more. So for us, we have what we want. For us to be able to say, if you're good enough to defend that one and that one, you know what? We'll play defense from the 50-yard line. But I like the ball. We're going to take our best receiver on the isolation route. We're going to put our best running back into a screen, and we're going to take our best football player, the quarterback, and let him make a decision. What I don't want to do is have the other team get the ball. And quite honestly, I'll tell you, this is the other thing, Pat, and I just did a Zoom with a team from Connecticut on our fourth down one a week ago. The other thing is you got to say to yourself, I'm okay playing defense at the 50. I'd rather have it be a chance that if I can get a first down, I got the ball. But if I don't, who cares? I don't care if they start on the 20 or if they start on the 50. I don't want them to have the ball at all. So I don't care where they get it if they get it. I just don't want them to have it. So that really becomes a mindset for our kids. So, yeah, we just go for it. Or we rugby punt, not a lot. But, our intent is we're going to put you into a rugby, and that's one that we do. So if we have a play that we really like, we'll do that. And if not, I'll just signal rugby. And now the quarterback has the option of I'm either going to throw to one of the receivers, or I'm going to run it, or the last thing I'm going to do is punt it. For the most part, we usually run it. We have a couple completions I could share with you if we had time, but it's not what we do the most of. Most of the time, we just run the ball.
Okay. Let me ask you about this, about scouting a little bit and
Yeah.
stuff like that. First thing is, big thing for us is we have series starters.
Yeah.
And we practice a lot of series starts, first 2 plays out the gate, those type of things. It's a big emphasis. Not everybody does that. You got anything that you emphasize in your that's a little bit maybe not common?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say if it's not common or not, but the thing we do is we make sure we script out a tendency. So those openers, either the openers of the game or the openers of a first drive, we'll do. So if we look and say, like I showed you a 2x2 orbit motion, if we ran 2x2 orbit motion and ran a ton of inside zone or counter on a game, on the 3 games that I know you have, we'll script that 2x2 orbit and run the boot off of it. So what we're doing is we're intentionally saying, so now you're getting frustrated. I know you're a great defensive coordinator. You're looking and saying, son of a gun, that I told all 11 kids that motion is run, and they just bring it. Now the kids lose confidence, the coach loses confidence, and then we'll go right back later in a drive or later in the game and go back to the tendency.
Yeah, thanks. Now, let me ask you this. When you're scouting a defense, do you scout, so are you scouting tendencies of the position by scheme? What are you doing when you're looking? We do certain things. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the first thing we're looking for in a defense is a mismatch. I mean, so aside from schematically, the very first thing is, did they have a kid, and going back to the 4th and 7, did they have a kid that we can just flat out take advantage of? And I know it's tough to say in a high school football, but I spent a lot of time in college, so I didn't mind picking on 20-year-olds. Now, if you get a 15-year-old, we're going to pick on a mismatch, and we're going to go with our best kid against maybe their worst kid, and we're not going to allow them to hide them. And that's the advantage in our offense. We don't play left and right receivers. We have the ability to put our best receiver on either side, number 2, number 3, number 1 on the 3-man side, number 1 on a single side, because we've got to be able to find the matchup. That is first and foremost what we're looking for.
Love it. All right, man, here's one of my favorite questions to ask.
Go ahead.
So what's pissing you off in football today? Let me give you an example.
Hey.
Okay. I always throw these out. You ever watch these officials? And the only 2 calls they can call are sideline interference and pass interference on a takeoff.
Yeah.
Okay. So it drives me nuts. What bothers you today in the game?
If we're going to pick on the officials, it's officials that don't let you go in an all-star game. I coached an state all-star game, and we had a guy calling illegal formation for us because the kid that was supposed to be on the line of scrimmage played the entire season for his team off the line of scrimmage and refused to line up on the ball. So, yeah, I would say, I wouldn't say that. I jokingly say that since you brought it up. But yeah, I would tell you, so we're not a big RPO team. It does bother me for the few teams that run RPOs, the officials that don't call the illegal man downfield. And I'm an offensive guy, but I don't do that. We take a lot of stakes. If we are going to do an RPO, we make sure our guys aren't downfield. But it really bothers me when officials aren't paying attention for that, and the wings are not tracking the guy downfield.
Yeah, that creates issues. We're a big RPO team, and we tell our kids if it comes out on rhythm, you're good.
Yeah,
but if you hold the ball, we're going to get called.
Yep.
And I think that's pretty cool. You do some glazier clinics. I'm doing them all the time.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Everybody asks me, and I think it's you do anything special at your place, like an event, non-football related, or something cool like that?
So non-football related, we try to do stuff in the community. We're recording this, on a Saturday afternoon. That with our local Elks Club would have been opening. Today was the day to open, to do the cleaning and stuff. So we would have had all of our guys go there and do a team cleaning. But unfortunately, it's been postponed. And I wouldn't feel comfortable asking our kids to do that. So, we try to do in the community as much as we can. We get involved in walks with Alzheimer's. So, I mean, I think it's important, and not to do it to really to try to brag about ourselves, but we try to do things that are very visual in our community too. So it's great. Like when you and I do something behind the scenes, we don't need to have the credit, and I know you're doing a lot in your community, and I try to do a lot as well. But to have our team do something, it's very visible. Like if we're all cleaning up and raking, on Western Avenue at the front of the Elks Club to get that ready for all the functions that they do for our community, that's important. When we're all wearing our jerseys on a Sunday after we just played on Saturday in the fall, doing a walk to end Alzheimer's, that stuff's important because everybody looks and says, hey, look what the team's doing. That's good stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, congratulations on going to the Hall of Fame. I saw that.
That's my son. Actually, my son got that.
Your son?
Yeah, the son was inducted. Oh, no, I think I'm a long way away from that. But no, my son was inducted into the Football Foundation Hall of Fame, which was great.
That's even cooler.
It is cool. It's a hell of a lot cooler.
It won't happen to me because Kate and Hallie don't play football.
Oh,
that's
I'll share one. Trey would have been an Allie if he came out the other sex, but
absolutely,
he came out a boy.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, listen, enjoy your weekend, and thanks for hanging out in the Sly Fox Tavern, my friend.
Great catching up with you again. Hope to see you soon.
Catch you soon, pal.
See you, buddy.
Yeah, well, I'm going where the grasses are grown and it's sparkling wine flows from a hose by the river at supper time. The weather gets a little bit better as the day goes by. The girls fight for the right and the pleasure of midnight. Hey, I'm from nowhere, but you carry it on.